everybody that is joining us. I second here. Boss man text. Okay. So I would like to welcome you all. This is the Chief AI Officer Friday call, and my name is Lee Pomerantz. I am the Chief Marketing Officer here at Chief AI Officer, and I am also a fellow in our Chief AI Officer program. We've got a lot to cover, so welcome everybody. If you are joining us on one of our live streams, this is the Friday call, and we are putting this call out in open to the public. So we do the Friday call, this one, and we also do our Monday call, make them open and available to the public. And that's specifically the Monday tools call, not the Monday governance call. So if you are joining us on another platform, we are out on LinkedIn today. We are out on Facebook. We're out on Twitter, I think. But if you are on one of those platforms and you want to join us on Zoom when we do these calls every week, you can become a member of our Chief AI Officer AI Insider program. The link for that is chiefaiofficer.com/learn dash more. And that will get you access into our program. Joining gets you access to these live calls. It gets you access to all the recordings. It gets you access to the recordings of our challenge, which we just had, prompt cuts, smart cuts, and everything else that we bring to the members of our community. So I'd like to welcome anybody who might be joining us for the first time today. We did have a challenge this week on Monday and Tuesday. So I'd like to welcome the people who might be joining us as a result of that challenge, whether you're here on the trial or whether you're here on the free pass to join us today. We appreciate you being here, and we encourage you to join our community, become an AI insider, and hang out where the cool kids are. So welcome everybody. What we're going to do on this call, the agenda, we're going to talk about what happened in AI in our Chief AI Officer community this week. We're going to talk about news that happened in the world of AI outside our community this week. We try to curate some news just because there's so much going on and everything is moving so fast. So we try to be a trusted source and reliable identifier of, hey, this is important. You should pay attention to this. So we're going to do a little bit of news stuff, but the main thing that we're here for is Q&A. So Q&A, Q&A, Q&A. If you have things that are going on in your world related to AI, if you have a project that you're working on, if you have questions on something that you saw, bring it here. And this community is, to me, the biggest benefit of this program is the amazing people that are here in this community, the resources that we can all tap into with each other. It truly is an AI hive mind where everyone can help each other out. And if you've got a question, please ask the question, because if you've got it, somebody else probably has the same question as well and may not want to ask or whatever. So many times I pick up golden nuggets on these kind of calls by somebody else asking a question and my brain going, oh yeah, that would be a cool thing to know. So again, welcome everybody. If you're joining us for the first time as part of the Chief AI Officer program, the AI Insider community, or the AI challenge that we did, we want to welcome everybody. And again, welcome everybody that's on the live stream with us here today. All right. Let me also jump to our some community announcements. Megan, our community manager, is not joining us on the call. She has something unfortunate that she has to deal with at her home. Somebody was messing with her car overnight, and apparently a bunch of others where she lives. So she's dealing with that fun event. But I do want to let you know I'm going to do the announcements anyhow. So even though we miss Megan, we're not going to miss the announcements. So I would like to welcome two new students who have just recently become officially enrolled in our Certified Chief AI Officer program. I want to welcome Chris Duffy, who just joined this week, and I want to welcome Jake Tanner, who joined last week. So let's give them a big welcome and congratulations for taking action and joining this program and joining our community. We look forward to seeing you on the calls. We look forward to seeing you participate in our community, and welcome again. Big well done for taking action. I want to remind everybody that next week is a holiday week at the end of the week here in the United States. We do have an international audience, so next Thursday and Friday we celebrate Thanksgiving and Black Friday, which isn't a national holiday, but the day after Thanksgiving is, so we just gave it a name. So there will be no calls next Thursday and Friday. We will have all of our calls on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So if you have some time on your schedule and you want to catch something related to AI next Thursday or Friday, please go to the Video Vault library inside Chief AI Officer Community. I'll show you that in a second, and consume some content. If you've got the time blocked out on your calendar, you might as well put it to good work and go out there and grab some content. All right. So another big community announcement that I would like to make is chiefaiofficer.com has a brand spanking new website. I am going to take a few words from the leader on our team who envisioned this and made it happen, Segovia Smith. He is our COO and also our Chief Product Officer. Segovia is on the phone call here with us, but I also want to just share some great words. I'm going to read this verbatim because it's important, and it's important coming in Segovia's voice because he's the one who executed this. So, quote, "This isn't just a redesign, it's a revolution. It's bold, it's sleek, it's what our CAIOs across the globe have been waiting for. Think of it as the digital equivalent of the super serum they gave Captain America from the Avengers. From now on, every page, every pixel, every piece of content we produce will follow the golden standard set by this magnificent creation. We're talking next level brilliance, no pressure or anything. So take a moment to explore, soak it all in, and let's celebrate this milestone together. Whether you're feasting your eyes on our futuristic yet modern AI design, or marveling at how seamlessly it all aligns with our mission, we know one thing for sure: the future of AI governance is looking damn good from this side of the street. This isn't just a redesign; it's a revolution. Oh, I put that in there twice. Sorry. So take a look at it all. Looks like I copied and pasted that in here twice. So this is a major initiative. We're really proud of this. There are still some legacy pages that are in the site, so it's a work in progress, but we love the design. It's cool, it's crisp. It is very representative of who we are and how we are leaning forward in the AI space. We have access to the challenge and smart cuts and prompt vault. We've got Help Connect here, the affiliate program information. So take a look at it. And I would just like to give everyone here, just give Segovia a big round of applause for a great job on this initiative and getting it done, and getting it done in an amazingly compressed time frame. Segovia, you want to chime in with anything?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
All right. Well done, my
Just the
friend.
tip of the iceberg.
Well done, well done. We appreciate you. We appreciate the vision and where this is all going. So yeah, great. I'm psyched for it. I want to mention the challenge. We did just have one, and oh, I'm sorry. Before I get to the challenge, I just want to share our leaderboard. So we are inside here in our community. For those of you that are not in the AI Insider program yet, this is what it looks like when you get in. We do have a leaderboard. And the leaderboard is based on participation metrics. So posting things, liking things, commenting on things, other activity. We want to acknowledge the people who are in the top of the leaderboard. We want to thank them for their participation in this community. Again, going back to what I talked about, this community is what it's all about. So Karan and Wayne and Tina and Kim and Terrence and Raj and everybody else on the list, thank you for your contributions to the community. You guys all bring insight. You bring news items that I don't catch out there. So it's a great resource, and we, really appreciate you being here and going through everything that you do to help us out. Um, as I said, we do have our AI 2-day challenge, our AI challenge. We do just finish that one. We have the next one coming up next month. The dates will be announced. We're still looking at the calendar and making sure everything fits in with the holidays. But if you missed the challenge, or well, if you missed the challenge, you should check out the replays because they're still alive. So if you are looking for the replays, they are here. They are at Chief A Officer backs / replay for the replays. And I'll throw that in here also so we can just take a quick look at that. So if you missed the challenge or you want to go back and rewatch anything from the challenge, this is the location for the replays. They are also live in our Facebook community. These replays will be available until Sunday at midnight. And then at midnight, they're scrubbed off every platform that we have. However, they will always be available inside the Chief AI Officer community. So if you go to the community and you go to recordings for the 3-day challenge, they will, whoops, I'm sorry, they will be showing up here. So here they are, day 1 November, day 2 November, and then we have a special call with Chris on Saturday coming up tomorrow, and that'll be posted here as well. So replays are available on the replay link. And again, that's chiefaiofficer.com/replay for those of you that are not on the Zoom call and can't see the chat. But those are coming down on Sunday at midnight.
I guess we got
So
to change it from 3-day to 2-day now over there on the menu.
yeah, so yes, we did a yeah, we did a 2-day challenge instead of a 3-day challenge this time. So we'll be updating all that information going forward. All right. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here in terms of announcements. Got the leaderboard. Sorry, just making sure I caught everything that Megan had for me here. She did prepare me for this, but I sort of had to jam it into my notes. Okay, so we got the leaderboard, we got everything else that's going on there. We'll come back over to a screen share in a minute. So I'm going to dump out of that right now. And again, welcome everybody if you joined us late. If you're joining us on Facebook or Twitter or any of our live streams, we're really happy to have you here. If you're joining us for the first time from the challenge that we had this week, we are super excited to see you here and welcome you. And just glad you're here. So at this point of the call, we have a section called Wins of the Week. So if you have a win that you would like to share with us, it may be an aha moment that you had, it may be any other kind of win. Steve has played Jeopardy, so he's on that buzzer. Bam, I wasn't even done talking about it, and he buzzed right in. So Steve, what do you got for us this week?
I have been working really hard on getting my presentations done so I can get in front of people and share the knowledge that we have learned through chiefaiofficer.com. And I've got here in my hand, I don't know if you guys can see them, all these cards are people that want me to come in and either train in their company on how to use and benefit and leverage AI, or they'd like to talk to me about becoming a chief AI officer for their company. One of them wants to join us in the community too. So this is like a huge win. That's why I've been spending my time working my rear end off on. So it's been great.
Excellent, excellent. And I also see that you have your neck brace off, so we're healing. We're feeling
Yeah,
for
so
you.
those of you that don't know, I had neck surgery 4 months ago. I still have it close by in case I need it. But for the most part, I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm not wearing it. So yeah, I wear it when I drive. I just came back from a chamber event where I talked to 35 people. It was really great. So
Great.
I'm
Great.
just extremely excited about the opportunities that are coming to fruition.
Yeah, it's amazing, and we'll talk some more about that. Glad you're healing. Glad you're here with us. Appreciate you and all you contribute to our community here.
And
Anybody else have any wins for the week?
appreciate all of you guys too.
Anybody else have any wins this week? Also, questions. So we are here for Q&A. So if you have a question on something, raise your hand. There's a little button down at the bottom of your screen on Zoom that says react, and you can raise your hand there, or just come off mute and interrupt me and say, yo, Lee, I got a question. So Raj, sir, good morning.
Yeah, so my win is 2 weeks back. Uh, so I have been attending live events, and I'm moderating a couple of events here in my local city. So I get to meet a lot of CEOs and a lot of VC in India. So one of those guys, 2 weeks back, I went and met him in his office, and he was offering me to become his mentor. So the word that he said was, somebody in my life have helped me to be where I am. So I want to help you, because by helping others, I'm also continuously getting help moving forward. So this guy, the company's revenue is about 10 million US dollars, and they are preparing for an IPO by early next year, valuate about $350 million. So why I say those numbers is, in India, $10 million revenue, that's equivalent to like $100 million in US, and a $350 million valuation is like close to $3.5 million valuation. Getting a CEO to mentor me and to that level, so that's a huge win for me. And that guy also have invested in 10 other startups, and he's looking to start an accelerator next year, and most probably he's looking to me to be part of that as well. So that's one huge win. And last week I was in a retreat, a founders retreat in Goa. That's another part that I've never been in India, so I was dragged to that event. And in that event, few things happened, but the most significant thing for me was, in that event, I met my Steve Wozniak. So for past 6 months, I have been going around and I say, I need someone to help me to build agents, right? So I told this guy, I'm looking for someone to do this. And he was like, no problem. I'll come back to you in 2 days. And in 2 days, he came back and then he said, because I showed him the Relevance AI, the Bosch agent, and I said, I want you to replicate this. And he said, I need 6 months to do this. And I said, what do you mean by 6 months? This will just take a week to do. And the miscommunication was, I wanted him to replicate Bosch. He went and came back to me and he said he wants to replicate the entire Relevance AI, the entire platform to build the agents. So I said, okay, fine, that's cool, dude. But let's start build the agent so that we can make money and then we can move forward. And he said, that's easy. I can do this for within like 2-3 weeks. Give me some time, I can get it done. Again, why this is very significant, because I've spoken to like major people who are into Relevance AI, and I said, can you replicate this Relevance AI? Like, nobody was willing to do it. Here I have my Steve Wozniak willing to do it. So yeah, that's a huge win for me.
Excellent. Congratulations. Love it when we have people in our community that bring back these exciting pieces of news of things that they're working on. It shows to everybody what the opportunities are out in the market space, and it also triggers, in a good way, I hope, us all to think about, like Raj talks about something and it's like, oh yeah, that might be something that I could look at doing in my market, or that's somebody I didn't think of reaching out to. Laura Lee, welcome. I want to thank you for taking advantage of the community. This is a big, if you guys want to check out in chat, Laura Lee put a question in chat. She's working on something, looking for somebody to work with her on it. This is a big, big part of what our community is all about. You saw the responses in the chat. You had people right away that were jumping in going, hey, we got you. I got your back. I'm in that space. I know that tech, whatever it is. So if you have opportunities that you're working on, you come across something that's a little outside your knowledge zone or your comfort zone, you got this big network of people that are here who have subject matter expertise across all kinds of domains that are willing to partner with you and work with you. So bring your questions like that to our live calls. We also have a questions and feedback section inside the AI Insider community, where this kind of activity is happening all the time, where people are posting, hey, I've got this, who can help, and things like that. Also, if you're in the community, go through those and take a look and see if somebody's raising their hand and asking for help. Maybe you know something that you can help somebody else out with. So it's not just a place to put your questions, but it's a place to look for things that you can join up and work with other people in the community on. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. And thank you for giving me something important to talk about on the call.
And I'll jump in and just say, Laura Lee, we can definitely get connected. I think a conversation possibly even with Chris would be a good thing. And Dia, it looks like you have also chimed in there. So we're working with Microsoft, as in it's early days in the relationship, but we are establishing kind of a beachhead around Copilot. And so that's a space that we're starting to look at as an opportunity. Being able to not only like resell Copilot licenses, that'll be, you know, a way to monetize if you happen to be going into a company and they go, look, we want to just get a seat license for everybody. That becomes something. And then beyond just giving them the license, how do you actually train them? So that's where our organization as an education AI company, we're looking at figuring out ways to better train that. So it's still in the seed stages of conversations, but maybe there's something we can do to fast track that for you. Di, did you want to chime in there?
Yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself. It's Daya, by the way.
Daya, sorry.
No problem. And Daya, and I just my win is I have I work with law firms and some in the legal industry, and I have two continuing legal educations that I'm putting on in person between now and the end of the year, and they're AI focused. So I'm super excited to be jumping in and getting up to speed with you guys to know more of what I don't know, so that I have to drip method with them. They're very scared. And so I get very few hands up when I say who's using what and how. But I know it's gonna take off.
Just
And-
tell
and
them
just-
you can't break it. That's what I tell them. You can't break it.
And I don't know if I've seen you on camera or if you've been on some of the calls before, but let me just welcome you to the community.
Brand new.
I know you're brand new here, and I don't know. We probably announced you a week or two ago after you had just become
We did. Yeah,
on
we
the
did.
marching path.
Oh,
I did
thanks.
back channel you a direct link to getting.
I just
in,
got
think.
it. Thank you.
Okay, just make sure you got that. Great.
Yes, I was going to welcome you also. We did give you a shout out a couple of weeks ago when you joined the program, but thank you for joining us today. Wonderful to meet you virtually through Zoom. And anybody else, any wins, any questions? Laura Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say hi and thanks everyone for jumping in so quickly. That was fantastic. Last night I actually went to a networking event and I got, like Steve, a bunch of business cards. And everyone, I mean, wants to be trained on AI, and there's so much room for the knowledge and growth. So very good response there. And actually two of the people I met even invited me for speaking opportunities, which is really cool. So very good night.
That's awesome. Good for you.
And let me just give a shout out to Wayne's call on Wednesday. If you guys haven't been, Wayne talks a lot about like getting out there, doing your local networking. If anybody hasn't listened to this week's podcast episode, I would highly recommend, go listen to it. The guy, missing his name. Anybody? I wish I had everybody's name.
Wayne or Jeff Wood. Ooh.
No. This is this week's episode. It dropped on Monday while we were doing the challenge. Pardon?
Was it Yay or something like that?
Yeah. That's who it was. But he's based out of Alberta, Canada, and he's doing the consulting thing. He's actually, he didn't come through the Chief AI Officer program, but he's been calling himself a Chief AI Officer for a long time. And so it was a really interesting interview, a lot of insight. And his local business is like kind of Wayne talks about the local aspects of you drive by more business in a day that you can actually service. And he's exclusively focused in the Alberta, Calgary area. And he's got enterprise clients. He's doing amazing, new AI projects. And so it's like, as you think about that, like getting those fistful of cards can actually be real money. It's not just, oh, I've got a stack of business cards, right? Everybody is in need of AI, and there's not many people that can actually show up and service that. So right time, right place.
I think the more you get out and to the masses and talk to them about it, the more you'll get. They're just all dying to understand it. A lot of them.
Yeah. You're gonna find that whether it's hanging out with friends some evening or at the Thanksgiving table or in any kind of business or networking setting, when you start talking about what you're doing in AI, all of us on the call here right now are so far ahead of everybody else. It's insane. Okay. So when you start talking about it, people are going to come to you and they're going to go, oh yeah, I had questions about that. Tell me more. Or I didn't know you were doing that. Well, can you work with me or help me out? So it's like moths to the flame. Once you mention it, it's just, stuff's going to come your way. Karan, good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. This week was a great week with especially Microsoft Copilot. There are tons of information, so much, especially prompting. They have a jailbreak, prompt injection, and reasoning, hallucination, and so much. But anyway, the highlight here is one thing I wanted to tell based on the past history of Microsoft. 30 years before, there was a very limited number of databases. DB2, Sybase, Oracle. Microsoft, combined with Sybase, they made a SQL Server. The past 30 years, SQL Server is one of the best. Sybase is not much. People are using that. Same way, what I'm saying is, Microsoft gathered or got the information or they tied up with, ChatGPT and every other Microsoft product they integrated. So it's going to be, in my opinion, it's good to know or try to learn a little bit more of, Copilot or Microsoft product, because most of the systems or computers across the globe is, mostly a Microsoft. So once they integrate with the PCs or laptop, it's going to be Copilot everywhere in another next few years. So as Segovia mentioned, we actually spoke to, I'll be talking to Chris also that we're going to get some kind of a training program put together. I will be involving with that as well. Because the Copilot mostly involved with Azure. Azure's been almost like a cloud product and the cloud. So definitely, if anybody need any questions or anything that you need to clarify in high level before we put together, the training or whatever that Segovia has mentioned, I have a lot of information I can share. So I just wanted to share to the team here. Thank you for your time.
Karan, here's where I am divided. I'm a Mac guy, and Apple is coming up with their own Apple Intelligence. And now you're talking about going into Microsoft's ecosystem. This is where I am kind of divided.
Well, they'll add Apple in at some point.
Yeah, but let's see how many users across in Microsoft or how many users of Mac. I don't know.
I just switched. I just bought my first Windows computer, Rashka, after being a a Mac for, I guess, about 5 years, but my clients are Microsoft users, so I'm gonna have to learn it.
Yeah, I have both.
Historically, it's always been 10 Windows to one Mac. I agree. Mac always had 10% of the market share. But then again, I was a Windows guy 15 years back. Okay. And once I got into Mac, I will never ever want to go back to Windows. But I still love Microsoft Office. I still use Microsoft Office versus the Apple stuff or even Google. Let's see how it goes.
Well, I'm not going to get into the dark side and the light side and determining and calling out which one is which. There's room at the table for everybody. Karan, thank you very much. Everybody on the call, Karan is a data wizard, and I'm talking about large data wizard, data warehouses and lakes and pools and ponds and all kinds of things like that. So if you've got something that's a big data project, Karan would be the person to tap into. It's what he's been living and breathing for his career. He's layering AI on top of that now, and we are very fortunate to have someone with his skill set in that area, uh, part of our community, because we're gonna be bumping up against those kind of projects for sure. So thank you for your participation, Karan. Nicole, good morning.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, I'm struggling with the Google form, the Google and the Office as well. Because there's everything and everything and drinking through a fire hose. But I have a couple things. One is successes. I did have my first chamber AI went really meeting really well. I got approved to be a score mentor. So gonna dabble in that a bit. And I've been on a couple podcasts. Okay. So I'm been interviewed on a couple podcasts and I got a lead from a podcast. So that's another area for people to think into. But I in the meantime, and I'm almost finished with being able to send Segovia my capstone. One of the things that I did learn that I just wanted to share with this group is that I was going through a branding master class recently and learned about LinkedIn because everything that we're doing, our audience is on LinkedIn. It's not on Instagram and it's not as much on Facebook. If you want a higher paying client, it's going to more so be on LinkedIn. But of course, then there's the small businesses that might not be there. But I'm learning to build a credibility and brand on LinkedIn. And I was so far behind, I'm just going to tell you, in this space. And if you're not knowing of all of what LinkedIn does and how it gathers those leads and how it gathers attention and how you show up on the feeds and those types of things, I would suggest that you do that because it was completely eye-opening to me what I needed to do to show up better so that I could look credible so that people would want to hire me. So that was my learning and some of my successes.
Sweet. Thank you so much for sharing. LinkedIn is so important. I was on a call, Wayne's call Wednesday evening when he was asking for wins, and I shared that I got a cold contact on LinkedIn. Somebody wanted to connect with me and said, "Hey, I think there might be some synergies that we could work on. I'm doing some things where I have a hole." Booked a call and signed a mutual non-disclosure agreement this week, and just out of the blue, okay, he just found me on LinkedIn. So yes, your identification is correct. Small businesses may not be on there as much, but it does certainly depend on who your target market is. But if you're working and looking to work with businesses that are in the $5 to $10 million range and up, those people are definitely, absolutely, positively going to be on LinkedIn. There are tons and tons of resources that LinkedIn themselves publish on how to optimize your profile, what kind of content you should have out there. There's a gazillion people on YouTube. There's a gazillion courses that are out there. But yes, it's important, and it's an ongoing work in progress, process to keep your content up to date and fresh and relevant with what's going on. So glad you found that. I can affirm it for you 110%. And yeah, I had a positive result off of it just last week. Steve.
I think
Also just Nicole. I did throw a link in the chat for SCORE. So if you're not familiar with SCORE, there are local chapters all over the country. It's a mentorship program where you can be an AI mentor for small businesses in your community. It doesn't cost you anything to join it. Wayne Clayton does talk a lot about it on our Wednesday AI Blueprint for Business call, but check out SCORE. And if you have some questions, you could probably ask Nicole now too. Steve.
So a couple things. I've been really heavy on LinkedIn for the last 3 years, even before I became an AI officer. And I post on a regular basis. People expect to see the post, so try and be consistent. I also find that it's not just one item. I also do blogs. I have a newsletter on my LinkedIn page where I put my blog so people get that and I get subscribers. But one of the coolest things that just happened, I had my CMO interview me like the Jeff Woods interview question where you can, be a thought leader and ask me the questions. And she interviewed me for an hour, took that transcript from Fathom, put it into Claude, and then had a conversation with Claude about making different posts. We ended up with about an hour time with me and an hour time with Claude. We got 44 posts, which is basically 4 months of my social posting of every day of the week or 3 days a week, whatever. I'm sorry, it's 3 days a week. We're putting it up now. So kind of think out of the box what really works. You got to kind of hit them in all different angles to really get them to notice you because everyone's getting hit with so much information. So you want your name, you want to be the thought leader, post on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, be on all the main channels, but LinkedIn is where I do my digging. And also I'll say one other thing real quick. I have an outbound reach program. It's called Buzz. They make a bunch of other ones. Go High Level does it, but it actually connects with people and you can send them messages and then turns into a conversation. And from those conversations, I've had a lot of leads. I actually got some business out of it just by talking to people and meeting new people. But be consistent, I think, is the biggest lesson here.
Yeah, absolutely. Show up and be consistent. And what's going to happen is, and I don't know if this is the case with the gentleman I connected with, just by being consistent, you're going to fall into somebody else's buying cycle. They're looking for something, and you happen to be there. So
And give unconditionally. Just give and
yeah,
become the thought leader.
absolutely, Steve. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Terry, good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Had my first SCORE workshop earlier this week. Went incredibly well. I had so much feedback that we need a session two. Had the SCORE, I guess she's over that SCORE Houston. She sent me a follow-up email. There were 109 who had registered. It was like 40 or so, I think, that had attended. And she sent me a follow-up. She said, we've had overwhelming response. I'm going to be following back up with you so we can get you booked again. So if you're not working with SCORE, please reach out to your SCORE organizations around you. It's a great opportunity. And she had told me too, I can give whatever information for them to contact me. I could give the slide deck. So it was a great tool to be able to utilize.
Hey, Terry, this is Karan. As I said, I'm in New Jersey and Princeton, SCORE chapter. Please, if you are getting overwhelmed, if you need any help, definitely I can able to help in case. Thank you.
Excellent. Dawn had a question. Was the meeting virtual or in person? Is that a question for
It was
Terry, Dawn?
virtual. It was virtual.
Okay, so yeah, it was virtual. But a lot of people are doing live events, a lot of chambers and business groups and things like that. You can do live events as well. This is great, people. Love the interaction.
So
Steve.
since we are talking about lead generation, LinkedIn, so I would suggest you guys to check this book, which I put it in the chat, Coach Builder. I just finished this book today. They have awesome information on how you can build your coach business. What do you need to do? Your websites, how your messages, your emails, build your product menu. So all those are like golden nuggets that you can guys use immediately in implementing your chief AI officer and getting your clients, and how do you nurture them? How do you follow up with them, and how do you position yourself? So it's a great book that I would highly recommend you guys to have a look at it.
Thanks, Raj. Sweet. Steve, you still got your hand up, or you just didn't put it down?
I just didn't put it down. Sorry.
All right, cool. Everybody, this has been great. I love the interactivity. I love the sharing. This is what this call is all about. And just another shout out. Anybody else have anything to share? Any questions? Any ways that the community can be helping you? All right, I'm going to continue on with the next section. But this is what this community is about. And what you see here now is happening inside our AI insider community as well. And this kind of stuff happens on all the calls that we do during the week as well. So it's great. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, share. Okay, here we go. Interesting week in news. So I'm here to get you caught up a little bit. So as somebody mentioned on the call, yeah, it's a fire hose. There is so much content, and we could be sitting in our chairs watching every YouTube, reading every blog, and it can consume your life also, and it can make you feel really, really overwhelmed. So what I do is, and what we suggest people do, is identify a couple of thought leaders or organizations that you follow, kind of limit, what you subscribe to, find some trusted sources that are aligned with what your particular areas of interest are. You may be interested in, generative AI for video. There are groups that support that. You may be looking for more generic business use cases. So try to narrow down where you're consuming information from. And then what we try to do here on this call is I try to curate a couple of golden nuggets. You're not going to see me talking about, tools too much, too often, but it's more general, what's going on in the world. So this is a little sneak announcement that came out this week under the radar. ChatGPT made an update to the 4.0 model. And if you haven't used, if you use ChatGPT for writing, you're going to really, really like this. If you haven't been using ChatGPT for writing, if you've been using another model like Claude, which is kind of my go-to model for writing compared to ChatGPT, and you'll find different models excel at different areas. So you're going to be in multiple models. So the model's creative writing ability has leveled up. It's more natural. It's more engaging. It's tailored to writing to improve relevance and reliability. It's also better at working with uploaded files, providing deeper insight and more thorough response. So this wasn't a big announcement, meaning they didn't, publish it and scream it from the rooftops, but they did announce a release. And not only is it better at writing, but there's a leaderboard for large language models and measurement of their performance and how they do. And this new model or the updated model, it's still called 4.0, has reclaimed its #1 spot in the in the leaderboard. I forget what it's called, but they're back at the #1 spot up there. Let's take a quick look at that for a second. Give you the name. Okay, I don't have the name of the leaderboard that they're looking at right there in front of me, but check it out. Take a look at it and go play with it. I have not played with it yet, so I don't know what kind of improvements are in there, but anytime they make something that's a little bit better, I'm going to go check it out. Okay, moving on. This is a big topic. It's a big topic in the community. It's been a bit of a moving target. So, what is an agent? The definition of an agent, and globally, an agent, an AI agent is something that can take actions on your behalf and do things with external resources on your behalf. So that was kind of what it was originally envisioned at, external resources being like, an agent can connect to DoorDash and order food for you. So that's a sequence where the agent's doing something with something external, DoorDash or Kayak to book an airline ticket. So the definition of agents has been floating around a little bit and getting morphed a little bit. Take a look at this article from our friends over at the Marketing AI Institute. This was on their podcast this week. They do a weekly podcast. This is one of my go-to resources. It's called the AI Show, and it's drops every Tuesday. It's about an hour. This is one of my go-to places for information, what and news of what's happening out in the industry. So you'll see me, referencing things that come in from the Marketing AI Institute on a regular basis. So this is an article. Take a read of the article, and then if you'd like, they do have a link here to the artificial intelligence show that dropped on Tuesday. They spent about 25 minutes really going through this topic. What is an agent and what's the definition of an agent, and how are they coming to bear right now, because everybody's talking about them. Salesforce has their agent, and Anthropic has their agent, and Microsoft and Google, and they're all in the works. So
What's the full name? Is that the Artificial Intelligence Show?
the Artificial Intelligence Show is the podcast that the Marketing AI Institute puts out weekly. Yes.
There's a link in the chat too.
And the link in the article here goes to the episode from Tuesday's call this week, where they spend about 25 minutes talking about agents. So Paul Reitzer founded the Marketing AI Institute 11 years ago. So he takes a deep dive on this, goes through kind of, an agent takes actions to achieve goals. Okay. But different companies are talking about it in different contexts. He dives deeper into it, where he really focuses in on the word autonomous. So is the agent acting autonomously, or does a human have to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 before the agent can do something? Well, so that seems to be the break point that Paul's landing on, is that, if it's truly autonomous, that's an agent. If a human has to do 5 things before and 3 things after the agent does its thing, that's not so agent. Okay. They have this great human to machine scale that they have. So take a look at the article, listen to the podcast. You can jump to that particular section of the podcast, although the whole thing was good. But take a look at that and get your head around, where things are going with agents, and how you can better filter when you hear things or read things about agents, really kind of what they are, and what the reality is. Okay. Following in the context of agents,
Really?
the next article here is an article from Bloomberg, where they talk about OpenAI is looking to launch their agent tool to automate tasks for user. The new software is codenamed Operator, and it's set to be released in January. OpenAI is preparing to launch a new artificial intelligence agent that can use a computer to take action on a person's behalf, such as writing code or booking travel. I just mentioned Kayak, according to 2 people familiar with the matter. In a staff meeting on Wednesday, OpenAI's leadership announced plans to release the tool in January as a research preview and through the company's application programming interface, API, for developers who spoke on conditions of being anonymous. So this is an article if you go to Bloomberg, it's going to ask you for your email address. You don't need to subscribe. You get an article for free. So you can throw your email address in and you can read this article about what OpenAI is doing. Interesting little piece of the article here is the comment that companies seem to be focusing more on agent tools as the large frontier model companies are starting to see some diminishing returns from their costly efforts in developing advanced AI models. So I mentioned that on last week's call. OpenAI and a handful of others are kind of saying, we're not really sure the laws of scaling are applying in the way that we thought they were going to. We're adding more data, we're adding more compute, we're adding more power, but we're not seeing the gains in the large language models that we thought. That's one set of conversation that's happening out in the public. Another set of conversation that's happening in the public says that's all bull. The scaling laws apply. Everything's going according to plan and growing. So you have to filter through it and sift through it and determine your own belief of what's really happening out there. Steve, got a quick question, buddy?
Yeah, real quick. This is really akin to smart contracts for the blockchain, where you could basically take, let's say, a title closing of a house, and it checks to verify the title is good and is done. And if it's not, it rejects it. If it's good, it goes to the next step. That's what these agents, in my mind, seem to be the same thing of a set of policies and procedures that it follows. And if it meets it, the criteria, it then moves forward. But it's all done automatically. There's no human in the loop. Just what it seems like to me, that it's the new evolution of a smart contract, really.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, on our next topic, this is an article from Business Insider. I'm going to throw the link in here. And guess what? You need a subscription to read the article from Business Insider. So this article is Inside Microsoft's Struggles with Copilot. All right, so I will just refresh that again. Customers are dissatisfied, rivals are circulating around. I really wanted to read this article. I really didn't want to subscribe to Business Insider. So I thought in AI, thinking in AI is what we do, right? So here's an obstacle. How am I going to go over it, through it, under it, around it to read this article? Let me try ChatGPT. So I took the link for the article, and ChatGPT has web access. And I said, please summarize this article. And I gave it the link. I had no idea whether it would get around the paywall that Business Insider had or not. First time I've ever tried this. So lo and behold, boom, it worked. So here's the summary. Microsoft has
That
made
is really slick. I just got to say that. What a great idea.
thinking
Yeah.
in AI.
I
Always
was thinking
slick,
of
it's smart.
hacking into the site, but this is way more legal.
It's
than I was
wicked
thinking of
smart
doing.
is what it is.
It's yeah,
I
and
like
again,
it.
I am a firm believer in that makers should be compensated for their content. Copyrights are real. I support the creator economy across all spectrums in all areas. So I wasn't trying to, get around this. This was just an experiment of, gee, I wonder if this would work. And it worked. I don't know if it works on other paywalls. Haven't tried it. Not my mission right now. I just wanted to bring this article to you guys and share it because we're talking a lot about Microsoft these days. We talked about it earlier in the call. I want to bring the positive and both sides of the perspective of what's happening out there in the world. So here was an article that said, well, maybe all is not, unicorns and rainbows. So I put it into chat. I will actually share this chat with you so that you can enjoy and read the article. But basically, yeah, there's some issues that are happening with Microsoft's. Their ambitious plans have sparked some debate both internally and externally among industry observers. There's some internal doubts and skepticism. There's some external criticism that's coming in as well. There's strategic and market implications and some broader challenges. So I literally put the link in, give me a summary. I was like, well, that's not really enough to talk about on the call. Please expand. And it was like, great. Here's all the expanded summary. I asked what was the headline of the article, and it said Microsoft is betting big on AI, but some company insiders have serious doubts about the technology's real value. I said, what's the subheading? Because I knew there was a heading and a subheading behind that paywall prompt. And then there it is. So enjoy the chat thread. Enjoy the hack. It's an important topic. I wanted to bring this to everybody today. And I found a way to do that. So mission accomplished. And here's another perspective on what's happening in our world regarding AI and especially Microsoft Copilot. I want to give everybody just a heads up. We're 4 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to keep on going. The call is probably going to go another 15 or 20 minutes. If you need to bail, I appreciate you being here today and understand if you have to leave. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning. Want to wish you a happy holiday and be safe and happy. The call recording will be available. So if you want to catch the second half of the call or the second part of the call, if you have to leave, I will be going through my full agenda and completing it. But if you have to go, appreciate you being here today. I'm going to keep on going here as well. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up that we're coming up on that time. The last news article of the day that I have here to share is some research from Harvard Business Review about how Gen AI is already impacting the labor market. So the Harvard Business Review article, it examines the immediate effects of generative artificial intelligence on employment. It highlights that Gen AI is reshaping various industries by automating tasks and has enhancing productivity and creating new job categories. The article's emphasis is on the importance of workforce adaptability and continuous learning to navigate the evolving job landscape being influenced by AI advancements. So I haven't read the whole article, but I skimmed it. It looked pretty interesting. These are, there's always two sides, the doom and gloom, AI is going to replace everybody. The other side of the article says, no, it's not. Timelines and everything else. So here's some data. Why is this important? This is important because if you're going and you're talking to prospective clients or you're working with your clients, here's real data of how companies are using AI in the workspace, what kind of disruption it's having, if any, and what those where it's affecting jobs in the workforce. And just a really good article from Harvard Business Review. I was fully expecting this one to be behind a paywall. I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't. It's a great article. It's got lots of data. This is important to be aware of in terms of the conversations that you're having with people, and then going forward on all that as you work with clients or go out to get clients. So recent data, this was just published last week, 2 weeks ago rather. So fresh data is always great and more reliable than stale data. All right. So that's all I've got for the news. I'm going to go back into the VIP area. I'm sorry, our VIP AI Insider area. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the calls. I'm usually on most calls that we have. Laura Lee, thank you. And Daya, thank you for joining us. Understand if you have to leave. Same way for everybody else. Appreciate you being here. If you got to bounce out, all good. Do catch the recording because we'll finish it up. So I was head down in the challenge. We had a 2-day challenge on Monday and Tuesday. So I missed a lot of calls this week. And boy, am I glad that we record these calls, and boy, am I glad that we have these summaries so that I can come in here and look at what I missed and have FOMO because there were some great calls that I missed that I need to go back to. But these recordings and the summaries here I personally took advantage of them really for the first time as I was preparing for the meeting last night because I missed some of the calls due to the challenge. So um, I guess that's eating our own dog food, as they would say. The Monday real world AI tools and their use cases call. This was guest led on Monday by one of our fellows, Chris Lannon, and he took a dive into using Clay for lead generation and email composition. So going back to the conversation with LinkedIn earlier in the call a little bit, the Clay is a tool that can help to automate and add functionality that is repetitive that you don't have to do manually in terms of reaching out to people, getting a connection, some messaging back and forth. Clay is also a huge data source, a data aggregator where they've got 75 different data sources coming in. So it's a great tool for investigation on opportunities that you may want to engage with on clients. The As I said, it integrates with LinkedIn Sales Navigator through their API. So it's a direct link. It's friendly to LinkedIn. LinkedIn lets them play. So you're not dealing with some of the other AI tools, AI assistants for LinkedIn that are actually, scraping data and, kind of going around LinkedIn's terms of service a little bit. Chris talked about the overview and functionality. He did a demo walkthrough. I'm really looking forward to that. He talked about data sources and compliance in terms of how they allow you what you can and can't do with the data that you're getting out of there, and then talked about pricing and the competitor landscape. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Clay, both for your activities in LinkedIn as well as other lead gen and automation, definitely check out this recording. I'm going to because I missed it and I feel bad that I missed it. And Chris is a great presenter, and I always enjoy when he does a call. And the Clay tool is appropriate for things that I'm working on right now as well. The Tuesday call, I'm sorry, the Monday evening call. We have two calls on Monday now. The Monday tool call in the morning is open and available to everybody. The Monday evening AI governance call is only available to people that are in the AI Insider community. This is a new call series that we started within the last month. It's typically led by our fellow Christy, and Andrew Lopez, another one of our fellows, was pinch hitting for Christy. Again, this is another call I really feel bad that I missed. One, I enjoy listening to Andrew and his perspective on things. And two, this is an important topic that I'm following in terms of compliance and governance, because it's the second thing that I talk to my clients about. The first thing we talk about is AI literacy. Okay, let's get a baseline understanding, everybody, of where we are and what's real and not real and what you're hearing. So literacy is step number one for me in my process. And then policy and governance is step number two. What company policies do you have about how you're allowing or not allowing employees to use these tools? What kind of data can they use, and all those kind of things. So this is right up there in my process working with clients. Andrew talked about governance, compliance, and ethics, and responsible AI-driven marketing. Okay, talked about brand consistency. And Andrew's out there doing this. Andrew has an agency that focuses on the dental practice, I believe. Yeah, Dr. Genius. So Andrew's co-founder and strategic operating officer at Dr. Genius. They focus on the dental market, I believe. And so he's got all kinds of compliance issues to be dealing with in terms of HIPAA and those kind of things. So he talked about those things. He talked about how the importance of governance and compliance and ethics are in AI marketing. One of the things as an agency owner we have to wrestle with a little bit is what is our disclosure requirement to the clients that we're working with in terms of telling them what content we're providing them is AI generated and AI not generated, or not AI generated. And then there's an associated issue or thread related to that having to do with copyright, because if I own an agency and I use AI to generate something and then I give that content to my client, in the old days, I was able to convey a copyright to the client where they would own that work because it was work for hire. They paid me to do it. But if it's AI generated, I can't do that. So obviously, we're not doing things in AI where we're just generating something and handing it to a client. There has to be a human in the loop. We're using AI for ideation. We're using AI for initial draft writing, all those kind of things. And then we're massaging it. And then by putting our imprint on it in a noticeable way, that, then we can convey that. But be aware of copyright issues with that. Going back to Andrew's call, governance frameworks, compliance overviews, and then ethical marketing practices. So this, as an agency owner, speaks to me. I want to, really catch this part and his responsible AI use and marketing part. I really want to listen to that and see what he's doing in his agency. Again, this is the benefit of this community. We have people that are out there owning agencies, engaging with people, and doing this stuff every day. And they're bringing back to us what's working, what's not working, what's allowed, what's not allowed. You're not going to get this kind of actionable information from the variety of people that we have teaching our classes anywhere else. So great call. Check it out. Dawn said, watching the replay, some of the calls I just can't make. I'd much rather be live, but thankful for the recordings. So yeah, that's why we do the recordings, because sometimes you can't always be there. Like me, I wasn't able to catch the calls on Monday and Tuesday. I felt bad about that. I was disappointed. I was in here last night and I was looking at it. I was like, oh man, really? Chris did that on Monday and Andrew did that on Monday. Yeah, oh man. We did not have a prompting call on Tuesday. Typically on Tuesday, we have our prompting essentials call, which is expert tips and tricks. And that call is led by Segovia Smith, our CEO, COO, and CPO. We did not have a call this Tuesday because Segovia was knee deep in the challenge. But one of the things that we talk about is our Prompt Vault Studio software. Prompt Vault Studio offers a vast library of customizable prompts, including premium prompt packs for specific industries and use cases, and a whole lot more. It does prompt optimization. It does all kinds of amazing stuff. So if you're in the AI Insider community, you get access to Prompt Vault. If you're on this call and you're not on Zoom right now, you can go to promptvault.studio/begin and get your own access for free to Prompt Vault. Segovia should be back in his chair on the prompt call next week on Tuesday at the regularly scheduled time. On Wednesday, we have a call for people who are coaches and consultants and service providers that want to add AI to the palette of tools and colors that they have. So there's a mashup of two analogies. It would be another tool in your tool belt or another color on your palette. Sorry about that. I mashed them together. So if people are looking to bring AI to the people that they serve and you already have a business, or if you're looking to start your own business and be an AI subject matter expert who can go out there and work with organizations, Wayne Clayton is a fellow in our program. He has an agency. He's out there every day doing this and bringing to us what's working and how to approach and engage with clients and position ourselves with clients. On the call Wednesday, Wayne was very, very excited about the event that Microsoft had going on this week. And during his call on Wednesday, he did a great review. It was called Ignite. If you'd like to, you can go to okay, I had it here. 1 second. So the Ignite program was live earlier this week. It was a series of live and virtual presentations. The link I just put into chat is the archives, so you can go back and look at all the downloadable resources from most of the presentations. There are some recordings in these archive area as well. So Wayne was ecstatic and excited and really jazzed about what was happening on this event with Ignite. As Segovia mentioned, we're starting to head down the road on a relationship with Microsoft having to do with Copilot. So if you're interested in learning more about Copilot, Wayne spent some time on speaking about the differences between Copilot and ChatGPT. And again, just sort of gave us a good flavor of what the Ignite event was if you weren't able to attend it live. I don't think you can access all the sessions. It was a free event, but most of the sessions I don't think had recordings, but the downloads of the resources that they had there were there. So again, Wayne talked about Copilot. He talked about how small, medium businesses are eager to adapt AI, but often lack the vision and implementation plans. We're hearing that all the time. He talked about creating AI champions within organizations. And then, as I said, he touched on a Copilot overview. He had some slides and information on AI adoption. Again, when you're going in and talking to somebody, it's good to say, hey, Mr. Business Owner, did you know that X% of people in your industry or X% of small businesses are doing this using AI or using these tools? Are you, or why aren't you, and how can I help you do that? So good data there. And Wayne always has the links to actually all the calls, all the call recordings, excuse me, we'll always have links here about the assets that were shared during the call. So check out that if you want to get Wayne's perspective on Copilot and his cliff notes of what happened at the Ignite event this week. And then last night, we had our workflow winners call. This is led by one of our fellows, Chris Lannon. Chris actually did double duty by doing a call on Monday and on Thursday this week. So we thank and deeply appreciate Chris for all his contributions to our community. And this was a fun call last night where he talked about streamlining business workflows and automation by analyzing call transcripts and using those call transcripts to perform market research and more. This was appropriate for me because I'm in the process of putting together some FAQs regarding the Chief AI Officer program. We have some transcripts of sales calls that we have, and I'm going to use Chris's automation. So Chris went through the process of how to put together an automation that will go in and do that analysis. He built it for us in Make last night while we were on the call. And then we actually took the transcript, and this was really cool. He took the transcript output, and somebody on the call asked, hey, great, that's a Word document, but is there a way that I can take that output and turn it into a presentation? So Chris was actually able to do that and get it, the Make automation to provide it in an output format that he could then copy and paste into Gamma. And then Gamma actually created this amazing slide deck on the presentation. So great call. As always, these Google Drive links here are access to the resources that Chris provided on the call, including sample files or the examples of the Make automations that he built during the course of the call. So we show it, we teach it, and then we give you access to the tool and say, here, go reverse engineer this and learn how it works, or just, go use it. So I appreciate everybody who stuck around until the end of the call, which is where we have now arrived. I'll ask again if anybody has any questions or comments. is there anything that you asked in the chat that did not get addressed on the call? We want to make sure your questions are addressed. So I really haven't been watching the chat. I think Segovia was watching some of it, but last call to see if there were any questions that did not get addressed. This is the place and time to do it.
Yeah, Chris, really quick. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Lee, you were talking about Chris. Any feedback on how the challenge went this week? I think it's interesting for us to say like, hey, community is getting bigger. How many participants? How many books?
I'm not at liberty to share specific numbers, but we had a great number of people at one of our top enrollments for people who signed up to attend the challenge. We had a very good show rate. Okay, so there's always a disconnect between people who sign up for an event and then who actually show up. We have strong replay watches. So after the event, replays are available on our Facebook group. They're also available on YouTube. And I think one or two other places. So we track that in terms of how many replays are being consumed by people who weren't at the challenge live or who were at the challenge and wanted to just follow up again. And then as a result of the challenge, we have a very healthy call calendar going forward.
Okay.
So for people who were on the challenge, if you're on the call here now or you're listening to this recording, just a reminder that the special scholarship that was offered on the challenge expires Sunday at midnight, which is the same time that the recordings come down. So if you're interested in getting that scholarship, we also are now offering financing. So if you are interested in getting more information on the scholarship or on financing, you need to book a call with one of our advisors by midnight on Friday. You don't have to complete the call by midnight on Friday. I'm sorry, by midnight on Sunday. So the recordings and pricing, scholarship, and financing expire midnight Sunday, not Friday, midnight Sunday. So you just need to get the call booked. You can have it next week. That's fine. You'll be able to take advantage of everything that we presented on the challenge, but get your call booked by midnight on Sunday. If you have any questions about the challenge or if there's anything I can do to help you out, I'm going to throw
No,
them
I was
out.
just wondering how many people. So thank you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
it
two more
was.
questions. Are you posting this on LinkedIn? This call?
I believe we're live on LinkedIn right now.
Okay. And all calls are live going forward?
Only Monday and Fridays we stream them.
Okay.
The midweek calls, and that's not even like the AI governance. It's just the tools call and the Friday roundup we stream live, and the other calls are not.
Okay. Could we, if that was in the note, like, hey, and it'll be live, that would be awesome. And then Segovia and Lee, anything on Chief AI Officer certification? We call we're connecting us to a body of knowledge that makes us more tangible as the Chief AI Officer certified. Like, I don't know, anything.
Are you aware that there is a the International Association of Chief AI Officers? Like that's a governing body that we're structuring and setting up to have a steering committee on content, on curriculum, and that stuff. Is that familiar to you, or am I talking about? Okay,
No.
so yeah. Did you want to speak to that a little bit, Lee? I can.
Sure. Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. So for anybody that's listening, I mean, I think most of you probably know we are the vision of the direction of this is it's early days. You know, a year ago, there was like 200 people on LinkedIn that used the term CAIO as a credential. And they, you know, compared to every other acronym you could, you know, throw out there has millions or tens of millions of people that associate with being that job title. So the job title of a chief AI officer is incredibly new. And so when you think about the concept around how do when we look down the road 10 years and we say, in 10 years time, we want to not only hold the ground, but build a moat around it. And how do we get there? So we have established an organization. It's the International Association of Chief AI Officers. And the intention with this, and you can go to IACAIO.org and you can look it up, but it's still in its early infancy. And the concept is Chris Daigle is creating and structuring a board of directors who will govern that. And we're inviting large brands in conversations with, bigger organizations and the leadership of those brands to say, what are the skill sets that you actually want? Like if we're putting out, stamping out an army of certified chief officers, what do they actually need to know? And those conversations are what help to drive the curriculum, as well as just the general marketplace and the landscape that's always shifting. So at some eventual point, we will probably have the certificates actually living on that site, but for complexity reasons right now, when you get certified, your cert lives on the chiefofficer.com domain name. But in the future, it'll probably end up living on that site. And we're not going to hold it as exclusive that we're like the only ones that can certify people. Like that's supposed to be an independent operation organization. We're just the ones giving life to it right now, but down the road, if there's somebody in another part of the world even speaking in a completely different language and they're training people, as long as they're adhering to those same governing principles, then that's fine. We're open to competition. We're just kind of driving point. And if you look at a parallel industry and you think about becoming Scrum certified as an agile project manager, or Six Sigma certified, or what have you, if you rewind the clock back 30 years, Scrum wasn't even an acronym. Now there are 3 bodies on the internet that are, if you get certified and you actually want to go be a Scrum master or work in a Scrum team with a bunch of engineers as in tech, you would need to be certified by one of these 3 governing bodies. Otherwise, it's kind of like, well, you got certified on TikTok. That doesn't really count for much, right? So that's kind of the general direction of where it's going. And it's still early days. I think, in a couple of years, looking back, we'll go, that was a really smart move. And here's what it's doing for us. In the meantime, it's the Wild West and we've got to at least plant the flag somewhere. So hopefully that answers your question, Nicole, and where we're driving in the direction.
Yeah. And then just to add to that, to finish that loop, right, is that that's great. Is there anything we're doing where we have, the governing determinations in the governments, what they talk about on the Monday call around those
governance and
yes,
privacy
yes.
and stuff. Yeah.
Where some of those bodies kind of do a ISO certificate, you are an ISO certified organization. Are we doing that angle as well, or just more curriculum, body of knowledge? Because I was wondering if you get them, would that not make it a stronger?
Yeah, we're moving in many directions all at once, and it's I would say yes to that, but each thing has to come in an order of importance and sequence. So
okay, cool, thanks.
But if you have more you want to share on that, I'm happy to have another conversation if we can think and strategically get some insights. As a product manager, I love to talk to our customers. I love to hear their feedback. If you guys think about this as your organization and you want to have this organization work in a way that is going to uphold your career and the kinds of clients that you can attract, umpteen, even just 2 years from now, what would it look like and how do we make sure we're building in that direction? That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, and Nicole, I'm not sure whether some of those AI governance organizations that are, again, in their own early forming stages, are extending credentialing out beyond just, we're all ramping up at the same time, I think. So yeah, that's definitely a great idea. And we'll keep our eyes on that, but I don't know how much activity is in that space yet.
Yeah.
Terry has her hand up. Did you want to respond?
Terry.
Just wanted to chime in, and I'm sorry, I was doing some multitasking, so I don't know if you covered this, but one of the things I would also recommend is make sure you all, whether affiliates or Segovia, the team, you all are really promoting that companies may be willing to pay or partially pay for, employees or advocates at companies to be able to either have kind of a reimbursement, or go ahead and, again, whether it's fully paid for. Also, any organizations, business organizations, people may be in. I'm in a women's business organization, the American Business Women's Association, and our chapter president said, "Hey, Terry, remember, we've got a business skills tuition reimbursement fund." Well, I had already long since paid for my certification, but again, these organizations also may have some type of reimbursement as well. So just another way to really put out there how it can be even more affordable for people, and especially if they're doing dual roles where they have a day job, that company may help reimburse if they're bringing that knowledge back to the company.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for that. I did
absolutely.
actually put a prompt in the vault, which is, write me a letter to my employer on how do I get reimbursed and so forth. So that is something, I mean, my intention is to actually have a page on our home, like linked on our footer or whatever, that says, here's how you go get, that prompt. Here's how you write it. Here's how you get the letter. Here's a boilerplate copy you can modify. And now with the scholarship, that we've got, the ability to get in for less than 10K. I mean, we even have yeah, there's just a lot of opportunities to make sure that people are, making it affordable in different ways.
I've seen that on a lot of event pages of, help me write a memo to my boss to send me to this event.
Sure.
So yeah, that's a great
I
thing to
had two
put there.
people request, how do they get their employees trained? And I'm like, I'll give you the link. My pleasure. You should
Excellent.
have a champion anyway in your organization.
All right, everybody. Let me just remind anybody who's watching this on the replay that the scholarship and financing offer for the challenge that happened this week will be ending Sunday at midnight. You can go catch the replay in our Facebook group using AI at Work, or you can go to chiefaiofficer.com / almost did it wrong there, Segovia, /replay. And then if anybody has any questions that I can answer for you about the program, reach out to me. I'm around all weekend. My email address is lee@chiefaiofficer.com. So lee@chiefaiofficer.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions I can about the challenge or what you need to do to take advantage of the offers that we have available right now. I want to thank you all so much for staying to the end of the call, and thank everybody who's watching this on the replay. Again, we will not have calls next Thursday and Friday because we will be on holiday here in the United States. So I want to wish everybody a great weekend, a great holiday, and we will pick it up on the other side. Be safe, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.